what did you see as some of the benefits and some of the things that, in your role now, you may be able to help push that would help, the network engineers and the NetOps engineers from your previous role?
It's kind of a funny thing, right? Like, I've been in the trenches for 8 years and now I'm working in a vendor. And as soon as, my people, my community, oh, okay, he's coming on saying, well, Juniper's automation is the best. So I just want to call out the elephant in the room that, like, this isn't for me, right? And we talked about this prior, like, this isn't a product pitch of like, hey, and this is why Juniper is the best. That out of the way, I'll tell you that the vendor agnostic automation solution for data center fabric that I've seen at Juniper blew my mind the first time I heard of it. I'm talking about Apstra, and continues to blow my mind because the other vendors. So again, I don't know if we'll get into this, but like a multi-vendor platform, it's difficult to navigate. Whether if I'm in a Cisco box, the commands I have to use are different, the technologies are different. If I'm in an Arista box, the technologies are different. If I'm in a Juniper box, God forbid, I'm managing firewalls now. I got to learn like Palo syntax, and so in the environments I've been in, it's multi-vendor. Each vendor has its own stuff. Whether it's their syntax in the CLI or their interface or their automation stuff, and it's like being multilingual. I'm blown away by people who can speak like 6 languages. Like, because how do you switch from language to language in the context and not get it all mixed up? Because for me, I had notes. Here's my Cisco notes, here's my Juniper notes, here's my Arista notes of the commands I need for each interface, because they're just drastically different. If you want to look at light levels on an SFP, on a light module in a different box, drastically different commands, and I would usually get them wrong. So I love that Juniper and Apstra are a multi-vendor, vendor agnostic, whatever the right terminology is. Like, it will manage a multi-vendor environment, because I don't know any other vendor doing that. I think that it's a bold move because, think about it, right? Pick a vendor. They want to sell their solution and their routers and switches and their software. They want to lock you in. People call it like a single throat to choke, right? Like they want to lock you into their ecosystem. And when I got to Juniper, even before I got here, when I was interviewing and I was talking to folks and Apstra came up, and I'm like, oh, what is this Apstra thing? And they said, vendor agnostic automation solution. I'm like, wait, hold on. You could say, right? Because I can hear people listening to this in the community, like, well, Ansible and Python are vendor agnostic. That's not tied into anything. And the difference for me is that crying I did a minute ago, like, to learn Ansible and Python is a mountain to climb. But I've seen Juniper's automation platform called Apstra, and I've watched the demos where 4 or 5 clicks in a GUI, you've set up a completely new routing domain and a completely new fabric and new tenants. And like, I've just never seen anything like that. And the fact that it's vendor neutral, whatever terms we're using, is just magical to me, because to me, that speaks more to like, well, we care about the user experience. We want it to be easier for you. We're not like, well, this only works on Juniper stuff, so get this, which some other vendors do. It's like, you know what? We really do care about operations. We really do care about the experience of NetOps. And here's this amazing automation tool that can do that for you. So I know there's a really long answer. That's an honest to goodness, just, I wish that things like Apstra existed 8 years ago when I got in, because there's been a lot of pain over the almost decade I've been working in multi-vendor environments, and one solution to rule them all, so to speak, one vendor agnostic tool that can help make my life easier. You got my attention. You know what I mean? I'll be really surprised if it doesn't take the industry by storm, because I don't know of anybody else doing that. They just want to lock you into their iron and their software, and that's not what Juniper's doing. I think it's unique. It's kind of a bold move, just based on the context of what I've seen in the industry. Who else is doing that?
Yeah,
nobody.
No, I understand exactly what you say. I've been in the working for vendors in this industry for a very long time, and as much as any vendor, and I've worked at a few different vendors, as much as anyone says, hey, we're going to have a vendor agnostic environment, we're going to go to this customer, we got this huge customer, and they're all our stuff, until they buy somebody. and then suddenly you've got a multi-vendor environment anyway. So the
Right.
single vendor environments, if you're only planning for that, it's tough, like you say. And if you've got automation and you buy an automation product that is single vendor, now you're going to have to buy multiple automation products and then try to figure out how to get them all to work together. And that's a big challenge too. So
It's complex for sure.